Cougar Sports Saturday here on KSL News Radio. Final segment of the program. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack with you. If you missed any part of the program, feel free, please, subscribe to the show. Wherever you get your podcast, leave a rating and a review. It'd be greatly appreciated if you do that. You can also get it on the KSL Sports app, KSL app as well. So many different places to get the Cougar Sports Saturday podcast. Week 2 of BYU football fall camp is a wrap, Nate, as they had scrimmage today, 102 plays. Kalani Sitake said that the offense got a slight edge over the defense as we put a bow on the show. Do you like the fact that the offense maybe a little ahead of the defense maybe at this juncture?
Yeah, I love it. I think that's what needed to happen. And I said it earlier, I don't have any concerns about the defense. And I think some of the guys are still kind of coming along. It sounds like there were some injuries, not really today, but there's been injuries on the offensive line, so they're still trying to find their groove. But if they're able to hold their own, kind of a little shorthanded against the BYU defensive line, I really like that. I'm really excited to see what this offense can do because I still feel like they're being slept on a bit, and maybe I am too. But I want to see it for myself, and that's part of the reason I'm not a huge fan of Game 1 against Utah Tech, because FCS games, they just don't do a whole lot for me. I understand you can take a lot from them because 2023 BYU plays Sam Houston. It wasn't an FCS team because they're making the transition, but
pretty much
they basically were. And then BYU wins that one 14-0. You go back to 2017, BYU's playing Portland State in Week 1. They dropped a negative. I think they won that one 20-6, and that was also an awful year. And so the last 2 seasons, BYU obliterated the FCS opponent to start out the season. I think that's going to be the same thing this year, so you can draw that from it. But I want to see what these receivers can do going up against a good secondary, and I'm happy we get to see that in Week 2 against Arizona because I feel like that's going to be a fantastic game. That's going to be maybe one of the best games of the week in the entire country. But I'm excited to hear that things are going well for the offense because it seems like all we've talked about the last 9 months or 7 months has just been they're going to be shorthanded. How are they going to be able to do in the passing game? Yes, Barry's going to be a year older. Yes, they return LJ Martin. Yes, they have a couple tight ends coming in, but they still have nobody at the receiver position. I think today maybe starts to change that expectation because a guy that we haven't even really talked about lately is Reggie Frischknecht, and if he's having 2 touchdown catches from Bear Bachmeier, that's another added weapon that we just haven't really talked about recently. Speaking
of Reggie Frischknecht, we had him on the show earlier today, and fresh off the ex-Twitter machine press, Trayson Bourget just gave his fall camp scrimmage standouts. It's like he knew that we were about to go off the air here shortly. Bourget, offense, he gives the nod to Reggie Frischknecht, who, as Trayson puts it, caps off a huge week for him, came down with a couple touchdowns, and proves to be a playmaker. On the defensive side, how about this? Miles Hall, a guy who gives his all every play, physical, instinctive, and finds his way to the ball. Miles Hall, he's a good player. I think back to 2024 when it was that Kansas game. Remember, that was the dark night in BYU football history. That's an underrated game this year that I think every Cougar fan should circle as Kansas just for the revenge of 2024. But Miles Hall was getting first-team snaps in that game. I think Harrison Taggart at the time was banged up. Miles Hall played. He's probably in that second, third unit with the linebackers. Again, a couple years ago, you would have said in this program before the Big 12 era, you would have said a guy like Miles Hall, veteran in the program, been around the block a bit, he'd probably be a starter. And again, it's little things like that where someone like a Miles Hall, who's getting praise from his teammate for his play today in the scrimmage, like, if called upon into duty, I think they feel good that he can provide an impact in that linebacker unit this season for the defense.
Yeah, I think Miles Hall, Ace Kafusi, and Jake Clifton would probably be starting linebackers on most BYU teams.
Yeah.
But not this team. I mean, Kedu Luave, you have Cialia Serra, you have Isaiah Glasker. I mean, those are 3 stud linebackers, and it's probably the best unit on the team, I imagine, right? Top to bottom?
Yes, no question. It is, and I thought it was noteworthy today. I asked Uluwave who's going to have the green dot, the communication. It's going to go to the safeties. So I thought that was kind of interesting because last year we saw Jack Kelly have that. I kind of assumed maybe Uluwave would have that green dot, but it's going to go to the safeties. Hey, great show today, Nate. Good stuff, Cougar Nation. We will talk to you next time here on Cougar Sports Saturday on KSL News Radio.